Good morning, sensitive and sovereign souls. Today is day 8 of our energetic boot camp, reclaiming our voice and sacred rage. And I promise it's not as scary as it sounds. My name is Victoria. I'm your guide through this experience. As always, drop in the chat or comments and let us know how you're doing. I'd love to hear from you. So congratulations again. We have made it through week 1 where we're building that safe container and grounded space to hold our sensitivity. And now we're moving into the start of week 2, which is amplify and emerge. So authentically expressing yourself, learning not to repress things and hold things back, things like that. So today is about reclaiming what's been unsaid. A lot of times we can ignore how we're feeling about something and it will slowly build and fester. We talked about ignoring emotions yesterday when we were doing our emotional inventory and how toxic that can be because it creates this energetic hypocrisy in your body. That is the exact same thing as toxic energy. It's what creates those blocks that we work to release in energy work, yoga, and things like that. So today really is about honoring the voice that you've silenced and the sacred fire beneath it. Something that people don't often think of is your voice is really an instrument. It is how you convey your divine purpose, your unique calling. It's also in connection with God or the universe, however you choose to view that. If you are in your sovereignty and you're viewing yourself as a entity that is of a divine nature, a divine origin, then you would deserve respect. You would deserve to be heard. You would never silence that type of energy. And in truth, or in my truth anyway, that is definitely what we are. So that's really the gist of how our voice is sacred. Women, when they share their voice, when it's not always wanted, we can be called too much. Same with the emotional thing. But it's not too much. Again, if you're doing your emotional inventory, you've seen how something is affecting you over time. Your truth does need to be expressed. And if you are not in a place that is safe to express that truth, you need to find a new space. Like, would you really expect that of someone else that you're around? Because if you would, you need to do a little more emotional inventory on that and say, why would you want someone to express their truth? Or why wouldn't you want someone to express their truth? And there are hurtful ways to do that, absolutely. But as long as you are being honest, you've done your grounding first, you are trying to be attentive of the other person's feelings and how that's going to make them feel, you got to let it out. And if you're not in that space to express it to that person or place, you can always express it to yourself. Writing a letter that you never send, or write it and send it. Some people really do need to be told something sometimes. And again, it's, weighing your piece versus speaking your piece. Sometimes in order to return to that peaceful equilibrium state, you need to speak your truth. And sometimes to maintain your peaceful state, you might choose to simply walk away. And there's nothing wrong with that either, especially as a highly sensitive person. So again, it's not too much. Anything involving boundaries and speaking the truth and communicating absolutely involves boundaries. It's not designed to push people away. It's meant to bring those relationships closer. By creating healthy boundaries, you are attempting to keep those people in your life and maintain those relationships. And it's a huge toxic red flag if a boundary upsets somebody. Um, so, holding space for that truth. Again, you can write it out in a letter. You can also record your voice on your phone. For people that have in their human design, again, getting astrological here, but people that have a defined throat center in their human design, actually speaking is so therapeutic. So, recording your voice, letting it all out. If you're creative, write a song and sing it out, go full Taylor Swift, whatever floats your boat. So, sacred rage versus reactive anger. We talked about those knee jerk reactions that come from something, like if our nervous system is dysregulated and something comes at us off guard, it's easier for it to jolt our system and for us to react. That's why it's important to take a breath, take a second, and ground. But when it's something that is your body, your emotions, your subconscious even, trying to speak to you through how you're feeling and the energy inside you that wants to be expressed, that's when we're moving into sacred rage. Sacred rage speaks from clarity, and it's your body saying, hey, pay attention here because something matters. When that feeling comes up in your body and you suppress it, oh, this is okay, it's fine. Yeah, people keep dismissing me and invalidating me, but it's fine. That is going to build and it's going to get expressed one way or another. There are so many different studies that link cancer with suppressed and withheld anger. Someone that's standing in their sovereignty is going to have a level, like a minimum level of respect and dignity that they expect from their relationships, from their surroundings, from their workplace. And that's how it should be because every life matters 100%. If you are into like inner child theories, which is when we're younger, that's when we first take in these wounds and that little voice in our subconscious that puts these limitations on us that we may or may not be aware of, what we think we can do, who we think we are, things like that. Some people carry those wounds through to adulthood. So, doing inner child work is looking back and validating that child's needs, validating that child's emotional experiences, and allowing them to heal and move forward with that sense of dignity and self-love and self-respect. So, in that light, if you are viewing yourself as, that's really the easiest way. Is it sacred rage or is it anger? Look at yourself as if you were your own child. Would you want them in that scenario? If you're a parent and you're getting frustrated with your own kid, look at it as if you were them. Like, would you expect, like, how would you feel if someone expected that of you? How would you want to be treated in that scenario? It's just a little perspective shift, but I know I'm very protective over my child. So, starting to view myself in that way, you definitely become a little more protected and a lot more sovereign. So, chronic tension and suppressed truth. People that have a lot of issues with strep throat repeatedly, people that have tightness in the neck. I know my neck always gets tight and tense whenever I'm under a lot of emotional stress. But clenched jaw, clenched shoulders, this is the area of communication in the body. And when you feel something blocked here, a lot of times it can lead to suppressed truth. So If you are feeling tense, especially one of those areas, this is where your somatic awareness exercise comes in fantastically. Do your little body scan, see where you're holding it, be open and curious, and try to listen to your body. Honor yourself as a sovereign being in your sensitivity and pay attention to it. That's all it is. Really, awareness is just the first step. So, when it comes to expressing your truth, sometimes we hold it back because we're too careful. We want to say it as perfectly as we can. We're scared of hurting the other person. But it doesn't need to be said perfectly because, in truth, the expression is for you. It's you communicating on your behalf. And whether, again, that's out loud or journaling or saying it on a voice memo, until you have that clarity, that all counts. Make sure you meet your truth with compassion. So, in today's exercise, what truth have you been carrying in silence? What message lives beneath any anger or frustration? Allow yourself to feel, guys. Stop pushing away feelings because other people look down on it or because maybe an emotion makes you feel uncomfortable. Step into your sovereignty and set the boundaries you need to embrace your sensitivity. So, have fun with today's exercise, everybody. Tomorrow, we will be talking about claiming desire and pleasure because there is no shame in our game in this energetic boot camp. Have a great day, everybody.